given that Moscow has the world's largest nuclear arsenal. According to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, last year Russia had over 6,000 warheads, slightly more than its American rival. Of these, Russia has more than 1,600 warheads deployed, meaning they're on missiles or bomber bases ready to be fired at relatively short notice. Between them, Russia and the US possess approximately 90% of the world's stockpile. In among the Russian arsenal is a weapon known by its NATO codename Satan II. The RS-28 Sarmat is the largest intercontinental ballistic missile ever made. Russian authorities claim its range exceeds 10,000 kilometers and it's capable of carrying between 10 and 15 nuclear warheads, meaning it could destroy a territory the size of France. The West fears that a constitutional shift from Russia's ally Belarus to allow nuclear missiles on its soil could now bring Moscow's devastating weapons closer to their borders.
We know what does it mean for Belarus to be nuclear. It means that Russia will put nuclear weapons in Belarus. And this is a very dangerous path.
Like other nuclear weapon states, Moscow has used its capability primarily as a deterrent. And this isn't the first time Putin has made such threats. Russian nuclear forces were also put on high alert during the 2014 annexation of Crimea to put off any retaliation.
The United Nations says more than 500,000 people have fled Ukraine in the last 5 days. Thousands more have been displaced inside the country. France 24's Emmanuel Chaz reports from the border between Poland and Ukraine.
Here I'm at one of the checkpoints in Herebene. You can see at the very back there's a checkpoint, there's Ukraine behind that, and around 50 to 60 people passing through every hour. I was talking to a firefighter earlier. Firefighters here are very involved. You will see a lot of cars here next to me. Those are not only Ukrainians, it's mostly Polish people or Ukrainians living in Poland who are here and they're waiting for their relatives, for their friends until they pass the border. I could talk to some of the people who already came through earlier on. I talked to a family with a one-year-old baby. The mother was saying that they live in Lviv, which is around 80 kilometers from there in Ukraine, and it took them 4 days to reach the border. There's traffic jam on the other side of the border of up to 50 kilometers on this highway. This highway is usually very busy in both sides. The bus you've just seen is one of the buses commissioned by the Polish government to go fetch refugees and bring them to other places, first in the area and then in other cities. Right now, the second bus you've just seen, full of people. Right now, the people are being taken to the nearest schools as emergency shelters, and then most of them want to reach bigger cities such as Warsaw, Krakow. Another bus just passed. The people I saw on that road, there's also people who come without a car. Those are the ones you see in the buses. The people I saw walking, they just have, they have their suitcases, they have their backpack, they all look exhausted, tired. Some of them have been walking for days. Some of them just looking for directions on their phones, The people are simply exhausted. There's still so many people behind that checkpoint trying to enter Poland, which already welcomed thousands of people on this very, very large border they share with Ukraine.
And that's our Emmanuel Chaz reporting from the border between Poland and Ukraine. Well, the UN Security Council is meeting this Monday on the humanitarian impact of the Russian invasion. France called for the session to ensure the delivery of aid to the growing numbers of those in need in Ukraine. Here's the UN High Commissioner for Refugees speaking earlier.
As an old humanitarian worker myself, that the responsibility that you have to ensure that eventually peace and security for all prevail over power struggles and narrow national interest has never been as urgent and as indispensable a task as it is tonight. If you fail, if we fail, it might be too late for us all.